Best DJI Drone 2023. Choosing the best DJI drone deal isn't the easiest decision. As the market leader, they not only have an extensive selection of drones. For more information on I have links, products in description. Make sure you check it out. Like the video, comment, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. Number 1. DJI Mini 3 Pro. The 2022 arrival of the Mini 3 Pro made us rethink the Air 2S's former position at the top of this list. It manages to offer the same or better specifications in nearly every practical category. Sure, the sensor isn't as big, but in exchange, the camera can be rotated to portrait, and, crucially, the drone, with a standard battery is 249 Ah. The camera isn't at all bad, either, with a sensor nearly 0.8 inches across the diagonal and dual native ISO, which produces excellent low-light video, at least at frame rates up to 30 fps. Creatives are blessed with a device that can be taken to most places and operated without a license in FAA territory, yet can capture 48MP stills or 4K at 60 fps, shoot in D-Log, and has a full selection of DJI intelligent flight features including obstacle avoidance, which doesn't need to stop. We're also huge fans of the new DJI RC, which launched with this drone. It is a relatively light controller, just 5 inches heavier than the standard remote but with a built-in 5.5 display. Number 2. DJI Mavic 3 Classic. The Mavic 3 is a powerful machine, and priced accordingly, but while its hybrid zoom is a handy tool for surveying, it isn't a feature which will excite a lot of photographers. This classic version ditches the relatively low-resolution zoom camera and retains the 4/3 Hasselblad camera on more or less the same airframe, including cone certification, video recording with 10-bit D-Log, plus all the low-light benefits of the large sensor, are retained. That means creators who would only have used the 24MP camera can pay a little less to get 15 km range, advanced return to home, avoiding and rerouting around objects, and the excellent battery life of the Mavic 3 without really losing out. In fact, compared to the original's launch, there are some advantages. The subject tracking, panorama capture, and other functions are all working from day one and are pretty high-end. Number 3. DJI Mini 3. We were big fans of the Mini 3 Pro on its debut, so it'll be no surprise that we're also impressed by the closely related Mini 3. That said, we should also point out that, even allowing for inflation, we're looking at a very real jump on the Mini 2's pricing. Yes, that buys you a bit more strength against the wind and a longer battery life, but it still feels a little pricey. This is DJI Mini 3 Pro at a more palatable budget, still not cheap. But by dispensing with the lesser-used features, DJI has created a version that is easier to justify for many. It has great battery life and can survive a bit of a breeze while shooting 4K video in portrait or landscape. Just remember to avoid obstacles yourself. The drone does still sport DJI cinematic quick shots, drone, helix, etc., which will make someone the center of attention for a single shareable shot. Perhaps even more significantly for social media fans, the drone retains the rotating portrait/landscape camera from its Pro sibling. Number 4. DJI Mavic 3. What makes the standard Mavic 3 such a brilliant device is that, while still being bigger than some telephoto lenses, the entire thing can be stuffed into a kit bag and taken traveling. It doesn't look noticeably bigger than the older Mavic 2, but it sits more proudly from the ground, helping protect the lenses of the dual camera gimbal. The system has a large sensor, 4/3 camera, which more than exceeds the old Pro version, and bolstered by a 12-megapixel zoom camera for closer views, albeit of less exceptional quality. The drone has also matured in terms of flight time, hovering for an exceptional 40 minutes, or plowing forward for 46, and vision sensors, collision avoidance, which use up to 200 sight to plot the best return-to-home route. Sadly, not all the software was quite there in time for launch. DJI has promised much in terms of tracking subjects while avoiding, for example, trees, like a Skydio. This has already improved with one major update, so we're inclined to trust DJI here. But we won't know for sure until later in winter 2022, and it wasn't a great precedent to set in terms of delaying core features. Number 5. DJI Avata. DJI's second FPV drone strikes a better balance between form and function than its predecessor while managing to keep the cost down. The 4K 60 fps camera, with one-axis power stabilizer and digital making up the rest, does all that's needed in terms of video quality, while the Cine-style frame makes things safer. Better yet, this is done without forward vision sensors. While they are a good idea on a typical photography drone, They can cramp the FPV style by slamming the brakes rather than capturing a cinematic near miss. For most, this will be a better choice than DJI previous FPV drone, so much so that we've dropped the other from this list. That said, the DJI motion controller, however instinctive, does limit the Avata's full potential. Adding an RC with sticks will unleash the fastest mode and allow some amazing stunts. Although DJI is the biggest brand in drones, they have largely stuck to pro and consumer products which lean hard on usability and photography. They have made some accessories available to the enthusiast market who build FPV racing and stunt drones, but otherwise left it be until, in March 2021, the firm broke with that tradition and launched the DJI FPV. Opens in new tab. Number 6. DJI Air 2S. The 2021 arrival of the Air 2S pushed the Mavic 2 Pro from top spot in this list by offering the same or better specification in nearly every category. The Mavic 3 is too pricey to reclaim it. There is no adjustable aperture or exploitation of the Hasselblad brand. But in the context of aerial photography, these are pretty thin legs to support the Pro as any better than the Air 2S. The drone does feature easily swapped lens filters, and matching ND filters are even included in DJI Fly More Pack, which largely solves that. On the other hand, the latest hardware and software developments have equipped the Air 2S with the best collision and tracking system on any similar drone. Finally, a drone you might trust to follow you through some trees and keep the high-end camera on you. The recording itself is also of exceptional quality, with D-Log-M and HDR video at up to 5.4K 30fps and a full choice for filmmakers, 4K 60fps and 1008 at 120fps amongst them, at up to 150fps, again higher quality than many pricier models in DJI range. Number 7. DJI Mavic 3 Cine. We noted at the beginning of the Mavic 3's mention above that its size made it an exceptional device for 4/3 sensor camera. That compact nature is just as important in the Cine edition, which has the same camera but rebuilds the internals to find space for 1TB SSD and the throughput to handle ProRes 422 HQ video. If you need this format, you're likely to understand that, and its price. Though we did think it a little odd that DJI didn't even offer the choice of going without the Pro remote. But it is one fewer thing to set up. The new video transmission system, A3 Plus, brings the notable improvement in live view to both Mavic 3s, 6fps rather than 30fps for the 1080p stream, which makes on-screen composition greatly more fluid and natural. The drone shares the same faster, more powerful and more capable airframe too, and the same late firmware features. We see this as nipping at the heels of the Inspire 2. Opens a new tab as much as it provides a necessary update for Mavic 2 videographers, though if you don't need ProRes, it's a lot to pay for bragging rights.